My name is Lilith.
Hi, my name is Mama.
This is my mommy's wool.
Oh.
And these are stitch markers.
Anything else you want to share?
Wow. This is Mommy's Elsa cup. Your turn to show.
Oh, okay. Happy New Year, Stitches! I am back! Oh my goodness, it has been a minute! If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. This is the Stitching Tendencies podcast. My name is May, also known as 3 Stitches Short on Instagram and Ravelry, and today is January the 18th, 2023. Okay, so I'm going to start and say, it's been a minute, yeah, and it's been an even longer minute because my tablet went to crap yesterday and kept corrupting videos. I recorded a full podcast 3 times, and every time I'd get done and it would be corrupted, and I was at my wit's end. So after filming for the 3rd time, I had to step away, take a break, and now I am back, and it is the next day, so it's been even longer. But I am back. It is a new year, and we're gonna have a great new year. Make sure you do all of those algorithm-y thingies for me. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. Make sure you ring my bell, get a notification when I post a new video. I can't promise anything on frequency, but you want to know when they're coming because we have a lot of exciting things planned for this year, okay? I am coming to you from the northeast corner of Ohio, where I live with my husband, 2 girls, and our little pack, 3 dogs and a cat, who thinks he's a dog. And this is my podcast where I share my knitting, crochet, sewing, cross stitch, whatever crafty thingy I'm up to. So buckle up, stick around, and hopefully you enjoy the show. I am drinking butter today because it is already like 1 in the afternoon. A little bit of ketchup. I still have a cough. It's been a minute. I think it was like late October, early November. No, it was Halloween. I recorded right before I took my daughter trick-or-treating and I was sick. Excuse me. I got even sicker from there. And I could not speak without going into a coughing fit, and those coughing fits were so severe I would literally get physically ill. Thankfully, I am mostly recovered. Now the coughing fits are just when I'm super excited, like I am right now. Excuse me. But it should be fine. Also, you'll notice we're in a new location, and I got a beautiful whip tree. I love my whip tree. It is awesome. Ooh, big window. Oh my gosh, big window. We bought a house. What? And it was one of those it was really kind of a spur of the moment decision. My husband and I have been married for 5 years. We've been together for 8 years total at this point. And I occasionally would go on Zillow dates where I would just grab a glass of wine, I'd sit down, and I'd scroll through the houses on the market. Well, I found a house, and something about it just wasn't clicking for me. As far as like, oh, it says it's this big, but looking at the picture, I couldn't see it. but I loved like what I could see from the house. It's a total 80s house. But I couldn't wrap my head around like what it said it had versus like what I was seeing in the pictures. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna go look. So I saw it on Thursday on Zillow, and then I scheduled a viewing of it on Friday. And I told my husband, I'm just gonna go look. I'm not gonna do it. Girl, don't do it. And then I came home Friday night from viewing it, and I was in love. So I started the process, and we got pre-approval Friday night. Saturday, we put in an offer. Sunday was the official, like, open house for the home, and I'm like, we're not going to hear anything till Monday or Tuesday. It doesn't matter. So we viewed the house, and then we went out to lunch. As we're out at lunch, my realtor calls me. They're like, yeah, we are under contract, with some negotiation back and forth, but we were at lunch when we became under contract, and it was so cool. And then from there, it just went back and forth really quickly. We officially were in contract on the 20th of November. We closed the 20th of December. So literally 30 days of closing. And it was super fast, and just the whole time, I mean, I'm a millennial, and so this has been a whirlwind and a dream that I never thought would actually come true. Home ownership just seemed like a pipe dream, and so I just, the whole time, I kept feeling like, oh, something's gonna come up, and this is going to get pulled out from under us. It's going to happen. There's nothing we can do. When it happens, try not to get too defeated. And then we went to closing, and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. So yeah, we bought a house. I have a new craft studio. And look, see that color? That color on the walls? That, yeah. It's called Knitting Needles. Ah! My whole house, every wall that I could paint, is in that color. It's called Knitting Needles. My girls have fun colors in their rooms. Lilith has a color called Tame Teal, which is pretty similar to like that color at the bottom of my Cricut. And then Lucinda has a color, I can't remember what it's actually, it's called Enchant. Her color is called Enchant, and it is a very pale purple. They are so adorable. I love their rooms. They're so, the whole house is amazing. But the fact that the girls have their own rooms, and these rooms are big enough that if we did decide to have more children down the road, they would be able to share a room without being squished together and cramped like our old house was. Our old house had 3 adults, 3 dogs, a cat, and 2 children in 900 square feet. It was tight. Oh my God. It was tight. So here, where everybody has currently their own room, we're able to spread out. I have a craft studio. I have a dye studio that is separate from my craft studio. My husband has his own man cave / office, which is what he likes. So that way he has like his entertainment while he has his work stuff going on. So everybody has their own space here, and it's so spread out. I have a living room and a playroom. So in theory, the toys wouldn't be in my living room, but 4-year-olds. Okay, so that's where I've been. I have been too sick to speak without coughing a lung, and we bought a house. Which leads me to my next thing, shop date. Nothing new. I have a few orders that I am focusing on getting out this week. Everybody who has had a delayed order, I have been in contact with, and they are aware. So I'm trying to get those out this week. We'll be caught up. I am sorry again if any of my people waiting for an order watch me. Again, I am sorry for the delay. Just sick and then buying a house. I was very busy. I got backed up and I'm so sorry. Okay, so this next little bit of news is so exciting. Okay, Cassie from KnittaCass, I will link her podcast down below, has asked me to co-host a make-along with her. I'm so excited. She messaged me. So Cassie and I are, we met through the Nitty Natty Love and Stitches group. And then Cassie came with me, well, with my group, to Rhinebeck in New York last year. And we've kind of had a bit of a friendship budding from there, which is amazing. I love new friends. They're so fun. But then she messaged me. She's like, hey, do you want to co-host this? I'm looking for somebody to co-host this with me. I'm like, abso-freaking-lutely. So the make-along is going to be called Finish It Feb. And it is going to be something that we're going to start doing annually. So the hashtag for Instagram is going to be Finish It Feb 2023. And the knit-along will run February 1st to February 28th. Yeah, there's only 28 days this year. February 1st to the 28th. And the idea is to clear your whip trees. I want this tree as naked as the trees in my backyard. So anything that was cast on before January 1st is fair game. We want to clear out the whips that we are bringing into the new year and get our needles ready for the rest of the beautiful year and all the exciting new makes that we're going to cast on this year. So, because of accessibility issues, we will not be hosting it on Ravelry. We love Ravelry. I myself still use it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how I've been able to have Ravelry be a bit more accessible to me. But the physical Ravelry site is not accessible to me for medical reasons. It doesn't matter if I use the regular mode or the dark mode. It gives me a migraine. And I have tried everybody's suggestions that I've gotten, and as much as I love it, I love Ravelry. I can use it maybe for 10 minutes before I start getting a migraine. So, because of that, and we acknowledge that there are others who cannot use Ravelry for other, even worse, medical reasons, we are going to host the chatter thread and the FO thread on my website, 3stitchesshort.com. There is a forum option that I am going to be making live, and we're going to have a chatter thread and an FO thread. It's going to be the same as everybody else's when they do it through Ravelry, because I have participated. I have to be very strategic in planning my time in increments of like 10-15 minutes. But it's going to be very similar to how it would be if it was being hosted on Ravelry. It's just a different platform, hopefully to make it more accessible to more people. So that is that. In the next couple of days, maybe weeks, definitely before the 1st, there will be links that you can use to go over to my site and feel around with it and get familiar before the actual make-along starts. Now, with it being a make-along, not specifically a cal or sal, all crafty things are fair game. Knitting, crochet, latch hook, cross stitch, sewing, quilting. I don't care what you do. We want you to finish it in February, okay? All right, so that's enough of that. Moving on, 2023 and my goals. I don't know if you've noticed, I have ADHD pretty badly. I go off on tangents. I can't stay focused. If something takes more than 5 minutes, it's probably not getting done. So the fact that I'm a crafter and I do have things that I finish is kind of a miracle. But as I've been catching up these last week or so with the other podcasts that I watch, I noticed a common thing. Excuse me. Everybody is going through and counting their finished objects. They know how many pairs of socks they made. They know how many shawls they made, how many sweaters they made. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, how do you guys know all that? And then I realized they keep track. I don't keep track. I make things, I give them away, and they are never seen or heard from again. So, my 2023, I don't want to say resolution because those go to the wayside by the end of January, and then you're like, fudge. But my 2023 goal is to keep better track of what it is I am actually making. So in serious ADHD fashion, I got another new journal. Yes, another new journal, although it's not actually new. I dug through my graveyard of journals that have 1 to 2 pages written in them and found one that I had written maybe 5-10 pages in max. Ripped those out, made it clean and feel like a new journal. And I said that this journal belongs to 2023. And then I was going to put like 2023 knitting, but then I'm like, I don't just knit. And so if I put knitting on there, then I would only be able to write knitting projects in this. And that's not fair to the other crafting Mays that reside in my body. So this is just belongs to 2023. I have a page for my 2023 finished objects. We've got socks, hats, shawls, scarves, and this is also going to include any cowls I do, blankets, sweaters, mitts, and miscellaneous. Every now and then I make a toy for my kids. So, and you could see I've already got a finished object this year. So, yeah, there is one finished object for today. Super exciting. And then the other thing I am doing for myself is I am going to try to stash down. Like, it's a problem. This is pretty much just with the exception of this bin, this is my commercial, this is my indie dyed wool. This isn't even counting my big box store commercial wools. This is all just my commercial, just my indie dyed, mostly single skeins. So we are gonna try to stash it down. Not just this, but the other storage I have that has my big box commercials in it. So we're gonna keep track of two things we're keeping track of. And I'm going to do this. This is my January knitting plans, which don't pay attention to this. But we have stashed down. What I'm going to do is when I get to my finished objects, I am going to write the finished object and I'm going to weigh it and put how many grams that used. And then my official stash down count is going to be in grams. And that is because 50 grams of DK and 50 grams of fingering are not equal in yardage. And to not have to do conversions or anything like that, I am just keeping track of grams. I want the overall weight of my wool to diminish this year. So I am going to keep my stash down tracked in grams. I am also keeping track of skeins out versus skeins in. And you can see I'm not off to a great start, but it's only January. I've had 3 come out and 2 come in. We will talk about what those are as we go. But that is where I'm at and what I'm going to be keeping track of. As far as my rules or restrictions for purchasing new wool is, 1, if I'm purchasing it, it has to be something I'm casting on immediately. Like, I go to the store, and I might even cast it on at the store because my little wool shop, I love my little wool shop. It's Around the Table Yarns. I think it's technically in Shaker Heights. If you're local to Ohio, please go visit them. Beth and Pam are just amazing people. I love them. So check them out. But if I'm going to purchase wool, I might even just sit down and cast on there because I don't want it to come to the graveyard. This is practically a wool graveyard. It's a very pretty graveyard, but there's a lot of wool in here. So if I am having to resort to buying, that is where it is. Now, my rules on buying. Let's say I come here and I pick a skein. Okay. Let's say I pick this. This is Grogu from Lolo Did It. And this is the 8515 base. This is a base that I carry. If I want to make something with this that is more than just a single skein hat or single skein cowl or a pair of socks or a pair of mitts or something of that matter, I can go to my studio and I can pick a color that's in here, or I can pick a color that I think would go well with this, and I can dye something myself to knit with this. And then that doesn't count as an acquisition. That's just moving wool and getting it out. I will count it I won't even count it as added to stash because I'm going to use the nitty natty rule of once it is out here and wound up, it no longer counts as stash. So if I go and I dye something and immediately after it is dyed and washed and dried, I cake it up, it doesn't even count as stash. Okay? So that is one way to get around shopping. Let's say that I wanted to cast on this. Nope, that's a base I carry. What's this? Okay, this is perfect. Okay, so this is Alchemy, who is another local Ohio dyer. And this is 70% superwash, 30% nylon. And it's a 4-ply fingering weight. Let's say I wanted to knit with this, but it's not a base I carry. I have a couple options for myself. I can go to Alchemy's website and I can buy more of this base that she has and see what my options are through her site. And if there's nothing I like there, then I can go to Around the Tables and I can find something that coordinates with this to knit. So that is how I will actually be buying wool this year. It's going to be very intentional. And I started this intentional buying with Rhinebeck when this is my Rhinebeck cube. This is 4 sweater quantities in there. And those are, I went and I bought 2 sweater quantities on the first day, and then I bought 2 more sweater quantities on the second day. That is where I started my intentional buying. Before that, I would get like this. I got it at Wild and Woolly last year. And I bought a whole friggin' bunch of single skeins, and nothing matches anything, and it's very difficult to put something together and coordinate, and that is overwhelming to me because there's only so many pairs of socks that I can make. There's only so many hats that people need. So that was really overwhelming to me. And so with Rhinebeck, I became a little bit more intentional in what I'm buying. And so I have quite a few sweater quantities now. And if I end up using it for something other than a sweater, like I'll get to a sweater quantity that I broke up in a minute, then that's fine. But at least I have the option of a larger project. I have more than one skein. Okay. So, 2 goals of this year. Keep track and stash it down. Now, something else that I'm going to be using quite a bit more is my handy dandy iPad, which I made my husband buy so that way I could make some graphics. There's a specific graphic design program on here that I am learning to use. But Kevin and Ray from Needles at the Ready showed me this fantastic app. This is Rabbit, and it's a cute little bunny, and it is it's such a great, let me turn up the thing so I can hopefully get you to see it. Nope, that did not work. Okay, that actually makes it better. Turn down the brightness to show on screen. So cute little bunny, Ravit, and you open it up. You can link it with your Ravelry profile, and you can search for patterns. You can access your own notebook, and it has your projects. It has, if you use the stash feature, it has your stash. It has your queue in here. Like, oh, no, don't do that. I don't know how to use Apple yet. I'm still learning. This is my first Apple product in literal years. But you can have your queue, and so it makes it so much easier, especially for those who Ravelry is not accessible to. This makes it a lot easier to actually do. Then you can access the forums. So if you're in a group on Ravelry and you've never even posted in any of the forums, the group's forums show up. That is huge for me. So yes, that is amazing. And then they do have a My Rav section where you can see your messages and your settings, where you can set it grams or ounces or meters or yards. I'm a little weird. For those of you who don't know, I speak in grams as far as like weight of wool, but I measure in yards. Kind of weird. And I don't know the US sizes. I speak in millimeters for my needles and my hooks. In fact, the US letter system really freaking confuses me. So I just, we'll just go metric. It's fine. The whole world should be metric. If our drug dealers can do it, why can't our kids? Okay, so this again is Rabbit. It is third party. Ooh, my eye pencil. Sorry about that. Let's set that to charge. I'm gonna need it later. So, Rabbit, it is a great third-party app. I think it was like $5 for the app through the Apple Store. It is on the Android. My phone is an Android. I'm probably gonna get an Apple next. But it is, there is a free version on the Android market, but it's very limited. I find myself going from, like, I'll try to do something on my phone and it's like, oh, you've reached the maximum number of stuff you're allowed to do with the free version. Subscribe to premium to complete this task. And I'm like, okay, I'll just go get my iPad, because when you buy it from Apple, it is the premium version. If you're subscribing to it from the Android store, the subscription it's only $6.99 a year, so it's really not that bad. But I've already purchased it for $5, so I'm kind of like, I'll just go use my iPad. It's fine. So that is what I have found to make the Ravelry database much more accessible. This app does not give me any migraines. It's amazing. So if you are somebody who can't use Ravelry or can't use it for extended periods because of medical reasons, check out Rabbit. It's pretty awesome. All right. On to, we're only 30 minutes in. That's not bad. On to my actual stuffy stuffs. I've got 1 FO, 3 whips, and technically it's 2 knit along updates, but it's like technically 10 cast on things that we're going to start soon. All right, finished object number 1. I made socks. I finished socks. So this was sock number 1. You guys already saw this as a hoe last time I recorded. Okay. This chick, she was about here. And so a couple nights ago, I got to a stop point in or what I thought was a stop point in one of my other whips. And so I'm like, oh crap, I got to figure something out. So I spent 45 minutes looking for my whips. It took 45 minutes for me to locate my whips, and 80% of them were on my craft cart in my mudroom. I just forgot that my craft cart was in my mudroom and that all my whips and like all my needles were there. I specifically left most of my stuff out. Then these weren't in there. My socks weren't in my craft cart. So I was pretty sure I used them as cushioning for my Cricut while that was being transported. So I had to find the box that my Cricut was in. And thankfully, yes, they were in there. So then I picked up, like, we were 2, maybe 3 rows into the heel, because I do the shadow wrap heel. It was like 2 or 3 rows into the heel. So I finished the heel and I did about half the foot. Then the next night I did the rest of the foot and the toe. Now these are 64 stitches on 2mm 9-inch circular needles. They fit really well around my calf, or the lower part of my calf. I don't like my socks to come up too high. They fit really well around there. And the leg is great, but I'm still having issues in this area that it's too big. And I think it's that I have narrower feet than calves, which is probably not too uncommon. And so I feel like they're still too big. And so what I'm going to do for the next pair, these are still great. I'm still going to wear them. I still love them. I'm going to use these for pajamas. That's fine. What I'm going to do on my next pair is I'm still going to do 64 stitches for the cuff and the leg, but maybe like 1 or 2 rounds before I get to my heel, I'm going to go down to 60 stitches. And see if that little bit just tightens it up enough that I get a bit of a snugger feel. And hopefully that works. If not, I'll go down to 56 stitches. And we'll continue doing that math until I find something that works, because my foot is a lot narrower than my calf area. So these are 2 millimeters, 64 stitches. I do 9-inch circular needles, and I do everything on my 9-inch circulars until I get to like the last 6 rounds of decrease on the toes, and that's it. That is the only little bit of magic loop that I do. The wool is Lotus Flower from Happy Mermaid Yarn Co. And the heel, toes, and cuffs are Wonderland Heather from Knit Picks on the Stroll base. These are great. I love this. Like I said, I do the Shadow Wrap heel, which is a tutorial by Denise from Earth Tones Girl. Her voice, you know, I'm at the point I've done the heel probably 30 times in the socks that I knit for other people, mostly my husband. And I love it so much. But I'll go back and I don't need the tutorial anymore. I'll go put the tutorial on just to hear her voice because it's so calming and relaxing. Excuse me. So, Earth Tones Girl, she does the tutorial on YouTube for free, but I highly encourage you to support the artist, support the designer. Go buy her Socksploration pattern from Ravelry. I think it's like a $5 pattern, and it is definitely worth it. That pattern is so detailed. And then I do the rounded toe from the Rose City Rollers pattern. I don't know that designer's name or that design. Yeah, I don't know who that designer is. I know that it is a free pattern on Ravelry. So check out the Rose City Rollers if you want to learn to do a more rounded toe. All right, that is, I think, it for my finished object. I'm moving on to whip number 1. This is living in my Vorpy, and if you can't tell, I have medium and small. I love, this is a Knit for Brains bag. This is the medium Knit for Brains bag. I love Knit for Brains bags. Like, they are amazing. So this is living in my medium Vorpy bag. And this has been on my cast on list literally since he released the pattern. This is the Stephen West Basket Weaver. I just started this on the 10th. Some friends of mine in my Knitterino Discord group are like, hey, let's do this. And we're like, okay. So it's an unofficial knit along that we're doing. And this is where I'm at. I am done with the first repeat of the small blocks. Yes, I love this pattern. Now, I am using a 3.75 millimeter needle. I am using my ChiaoGoo red lace with my 5-inch tips, and I am doing this on fingering weight. So, couple things. Yes, that is significantly thinner than what he called for. I'm aware I'm going to need to do more repeats to end up with a proper size. The good news is that once you get to the final block sizes, you just do as many repeats as you want until you've reached your desired size. So it's not that big of a deal that mine is smaller because I can physically make it bigger. The colorway is Spirit Banisher. It's a sage green. I thought it was funny with that. So this is Spirit Banisher on my Logan base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And it is just a really lovely squishy wool. These are 2 of the cakes that I have called out of stash. And if you can see up here, there are 3 more in this base. I dyed a sweater quantity, but then I didn't end up needing a sweater quantity. So I will probably have another pattern in this colorway that I do. What I'm gonna do, I don't know, but I got 2 skeins out of stash so far. I will probably need a 3rd skein, which is not a problem at all. I have more than enough. But it's so pretty. I love it. I think that's pretty much all the details about this project. Needles, wool. God, I love this color. Isn't this color great? Look at it. Okay. So, put that back in there. Whip number 1. Now, whip number 2, this was the one I've been working on since I have been in the new house. Essentially what I did is I just made sure that I had one project that was simple enough that I could work on it whenever I had a spare minute, and that was big enough that I knew I wouldn't finish it before I had everything unpacked. And that is this blanket. This is going to be a new blanket for my new craft studio. I did not follow a pattern. I cast on, I think, 230, maybe 250 stitches. I don't know, and I'm not going to count. But when we physically took possession and moved in, I was around here. Since we've moved in, I have finished this. And I mostly work on it while I'm working my phone job, my little corporate gig that I do. And it's been coming along. I'm super excited about that. It's supposed to be about a third done because I only have 3 skeins of this. It currently comes like from the floor about to my knees. So 1 more from my knees to my lap. I think it's going to be a pretty good size. So I finished this up and I went to my extra skeins and I'm like, these are in the wrong order. They didn't wind these the same. Totally having a freaking exhausted, tired moment. But then when I revisited it, I realized, yes, it is in the right order. So I have already cut what I needed to cut in order to match up these colors of what's currently here and where that's starting. And then the extra cut will just be tacked on at the end of this. So it's going to be fine. I'm in a good place to pick up and go next time I pick this up. I am using 6.5 millimeter needles. These are actually my Knit Picks nickel plated 4-inch tips. I don't use these very regularly. The needles are great. I love the needles, but I really do not like these cords. There's so much memory in these cords that until you get a substantial amount to like physically force the cord in one way or another, you fight with the cord. And even like when I squish up and I push, you can still, like, there's still so much memory in the cord that it fights with me to go where it wants to go rather than where I need it to go. I will probably be switching this to a Xiaogu needle soon. But for now, I started on this, so I'm kind of just like, whatever. But it's probably changing soon. It's just those the cords are too angsty for me. So, and this is just the Joann's bag. I usually use Joann's bags for blankets because I don't have Knit Picks bags that are big enough for blankets. Oh, the wool is Karen Latte Cakes, which I bought a few years ago from Uncle Michael's. And it's a bulky weight, and I think the colorway is called Ice Leaves. All right, whip number 3. I think it's this one. Yes. Okay, so this is a test knit that I started back in October for Blame the Knots. This is the ambidextrous pattern. This was her first pattern, and it is a cute little slip stitch spiral. And my husband pretty much only will wear ankle socks. So I did one repeat of the leg just so that I could test the leg. And then I did the heel. The heel written in the pattern is very similar to like the Shadow Wrap heel and the Fish Lips Kiss heel. Those two patterns are very similar. So that is what that is. And then it does have a traditional square toe. The only thing that I would caution is that square toes are a little bit longer. So if you want a little bit of a shorter toe, you might want to do a different toe than what's in the pattern. But I did it as called for in the pattern. I just stopped my toe a little early so that it wasn't too long for my husband's foot. But that's what that is. It is a hoe. This one is completely done. I did 72 stitches. This is where I'm at for the second one. Look at my little Tiddly Bakes voodoo dolly. He's so cute. I think this is almost done with the cuff or done with the cup. I haven't counted or even really looked at it. I just picked it up yesterday. Because what I'm doing is, if you look at my Ravelry, it's got my current active whips. And so as I pull something from my project basket or from my whip tree, that is when I will get current pictures of it, information input it, put it in my notebook, put it in Ravelry, do all of that at that time so that I don't feel overwhelmed. So that is that. I am using a hodgepodge of scraps. I know that the body is Robin's Promise, who is an indie dyer in Georgia, I think. And then I have no idea what the heels, toes, and cuffs are. They're just some scraps that I had. I don't even think that they're like a standard sock base. I think it's like 60, 30, 10 or something like that. I don't know. It is living in my Knit for Brains bag. Like it's a little, I literally bought this just so I could take it to Disney World when we went in August. How cute is that? I am knitting on 2.25 millimeter needles with 72 stitches for this pattern. Okay, so that is all of my whips. As far as future cast-ons, there are 2 knit-alongs. They are year-long knit-alongs that I am joining this year. The first one is Desert Vista Dye Works, the 9th annual sock club. These will be my January socks. Look how cute they are. I love them. So what I'm going to do is, this is Heather in the Highland. I'm going to get this wound up today, and I'll probably cast on. This is going to be a 64 stitch sock for myself. Yeah. And that is where I will be probably for the next couple days. Really crank these out real quick, because I am getting such a late start this month because things are just getting settled. The other knit along that I am going to be doing this year is the Make 9, which, if you follow me on Instagram, you have already seen. But for those of you who haven't, this is my Make 9 board. We have the Dustland Shawl by Stephen West. We have the No Need to Panic sweater by Casapinka. We have the Dotted Rays, also by Mr. West. We have, this is called, there we go. This is called the Diagonally Jumper. Can you? I really don't like text sometimes. The Diagonally Jumper. Can't remember her name. The Reborn Sweater. I can't remember. Rachel Ilsley, I think is her name. And then this is Being an Olive Grown Up. Suburban Wrap by Hohi. Dark Academia by Sharon Hartley. And Pure Joy, also by Hohi. This is my Make 9. I am hoping to get started with it in March. That will give me 10 full months to get everything done. However, I am hoping to get at least the 5 sweaters done by October, mid-October, because I'm going to Rhinebeck again this year. I have already secured lodging. This year I am taking my husband and my girls. I will be there Thursday and Friday for some of the classes, and we will be there Saturday and Sunday for the full festival. So super excited for that. So I'm hoping to get as much of my Make 9 done as I can by October. I think it's pretty reasonable because my Bean and Olive Grown Up is going to be worsted weight instead of DK, and so that should go pretty quickly. My No Need to Panic is going to be is a DK weight, so those two should go pretty quickly. So is the Diagonally Jumper. That's also DK. So, excuse me. So I've only got 2 fingering weight sweaters on this list. We'll see how it goes. It took me 3 weeks-ish to do my Rocket Tee, which is a fingering weight t-shirt, and that was too big on me. So I am going to do smaller sizes, which means less stitches. So hopefully I can get that pretty easily done. All right. That is my future knitting. I have a few things to show as far as acquisitions. I got these after we bought the house. So my husband was like, oh, you really don't need that much more yarn. And I'm like, you can never have too much wool, honey. Like, first of all, it's not yarn, it's wool. Second of all, there's no such thing as too much. But I got these from a D-Stash group, so he was a little less upset about that. Let's make you a little prettier again. Okay, so these are Drops Cotton Merino. It's a 50-50 DK blend. They're 50-gram skeins, so I got 10 total in each color. So it's about 5 full skeins. It took 2.5 skeins to do my love note, so I'm pretty sure I'll be okay having 5. I have color number 1, great color name, and color number 28. This is a very creamy ivory color, and this is a very, very pale pink. Excuse me. So these are going to be 2 of my sweaters that I do. I have a bunch of sweaters planned this year. I have 5 that are on my Make 9. So obviously those ones will be first before I do any others. But I think the pink one, I think the pale pink is going to be my diagonally jumper, because I love, it's a very vintage sweetheart looking style, especially with that little bit of puff in the sleeves. So I want that. I think I'm going to do that for my pink. So that is those. And then one of the financial decisions I'm going to have to make, or I had to make in buying the house, is that I've had to cancel both my Sock Yarn Society and my Yarnable subscription boxes. Because of the billing, I did still get January's boxes from both, so I do have those to show. But because it's been a minute, I'm gonna quickly show the last couple months of each, because I don't think I've shown you those. So starting off with Sock Yarn Society, in November, this was the colorway. Such a gorgeous Gordy color, and the speckles are very like fall leaves and stems and vines reminiscent there, and it's called Don't Sweat the Fall Things. Love this. December was called I Smell Snow, and it's white with the snow and icy blue color, and then some like darker denim color throughout, and the speckles remind me of like peppermint, like because there's some red and there's also some green and some other colors. It kind of reminds me of like all the sprinkles that go on Christmas, like Christmas cookies, but also kind of like the lights on like the Christmas trees. So I really, really love this color. And I love this base. Thank God Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. was so sweet and shared that supplier with me. So I have this base now too. Now, here's something that I kind of find funny. These are the stitch markers that came with December's. It came with a little snowflake. So cute, right? But then the normal Arkansas stitch marker, oh, I need to fix that. A couple of my stitch markers got a little damaged in the move. Thankfully, I do have the tools to fix it, but they're usually something you can fix pretty easily by your hands. But look at that. You see that little snowflake on Arkansas? There's a snowflake on Arkansas, and it got me thinking, does it even snow in Arkansas? I don't know why. Like, that seems so funny to me. But, like, I honestly, like, honest question, Maddie, Kristen, if you're watching this, could you let me know, or anyone else who's from Arkansas, could you let me know, does it snow in Arkansas? I just thought that was funny. So, Okay, and then January. Of course, when you go to cancel something, the last thing you get of it is going to be so amazing and kick-ass, and you're like, I don't want to cancel it. Like, seriously, they're like, when you go to cancel, there's like a little question of like, how could we have improved this? And I'm like, you can't, you're perfect, I love you, I'm so sorry, I don't want to do this. So this was the yarn or wool for, this was the wool for January. And it's called Louis V, which, history buff, I'm sitting here like, why would they name it after a king that's barely even remembered? No, it's Louis Vuitton. Can't. My brain is a little special sometimes, but I was totally convinced. I'm like, oh yeah, they're naming it after a king of France, and I'm like, why would they name it after him? It didn't actually get to me that it was named for Louis Vuitton until I looked at the extras. It came with a mini, and this is called Kate Spade, and it came with a little Louis Vuitton pouch, and inside this pouch is like a really cute little set of designer stitch markers. This bag gives me all the, that's really blurry, I hope that focuses for you, but this little stitch marker gives me all of the Breakfast at Tiffany vibes. I love it. And then it has a little stiletto, black spike stiletto, and then it's got 3 of these little cubic zirconia diamond-esque shellback stitch markers. So cute. They're so shiny. I like shiny. Shiny is my favorite color. So that was my last few months of Sock Yarn Society. And I'm so, oh, I didn't show you these. These are the actual stitch markers that it came with, like the ones that they make. And I love these. Look at that purple little purse. How cute is that? Oh my goodness. So that is my Sock Yarn Society. Yarnable. Now I do specifically remember showing you October and November of that. So I've got December and January here. December was this. It's called Winter Mint, and it's a very spearminty base with some gray variegation and deep blue speckles. I absolutely love this. So cute. And then January was Party Like It's 2023, and this is a very fun pink base with some gold variegations, and it's got like some magenta and fuchsia and hot pink speckles in it, as well as like some darker goldenrod and a little bit of like a green color of speckles in the golden color. So that is super cute. In true New Year fashion, it came with a 2023 stitch marker by 3 by the Sea Designs. I love these girls. They are so cute. It's a mother-daughter set. I think it's a mom and like 2 or 3 of the girls. No, 2 girls, obviously, because there's 3 of them total. So it's the mom and 2 sisters. And I love them. I get a lot of my stitch markers from them. It came with Fancy Sprinkles, which is an edible glitter in the Moonstone Iridescent way, which is super fun. I think I'm going to give that to my daughter, make her some special sparkly hot cocoa later, sprinkle that over her, what's that stuff called? The whipped cream. And then I will give her these. These are Goddess Sea Mineral Pomegranate Scented Mini Bath Bombs. These are going to be perfect for my 4-year-old's excuse me, perfect for my 4-year-old's bath because she's bougie and she likes to have like sparklies and fun colors in her bath. And we recently learned that she had a reaction to the Crayola brand. So hopefully she does not have a reaction to these. We'll see. All right. Last little bit of acquisitions. My Stitch cards came in. Look how cute these are. Oh my goodness. So these are the Stitch card set O from Lori Holt. These are done, these are exclusively printed by It's So Emma, which is the publishing company from Fat Quarter Shop. They are so cute. I love these. I am very excited to stitch these up this. Hopefully I'll get them done this quarter. I don't know. I do want to start cross stitching a little bit more. I haven't touched my Ada in forever, so. All right. Last little thing I want to share is I was part of the Knitterino holiday gift swap, and I had to wait so long to open my gift because we were moving when I got it. So this is what I got. I got some Lemon Dream organic loose leaf tea. Love that. I love lemon. Citrus is like my thing. I got some chamomile vanilla organic tea bags, which is super cool. Interesting. It does have Manuka honey in it, so that's really cool. It should be really calming. It came with this really cute Let It Snow notepad from Moda Fabrics. It came, look at this mug. I love this mug, and the inside of the mug has a snowflake. I love snow. I love snow. And then it came with this really cute little cider fix-in, which I probably will use for a steam pot because it has, I'm pretty sure that's a walnut in it, and I am allergic to walnuts. So, and I'm pretty sure these are pine nuts, which I'm also really allergic to, but it's fine. I can smell the smells without having a reaction. I just can't eat them. So I'm probably just going to put this in a cider pot and let this simmer when I have my housewarming party. I think that would be a great use for this because I won't be able to physically eat it. Excuse me. It came with, we had to include, there were 3 requirements for the gift. It had to be of a certain dollar amount. It had to include a handmade gift, and it had to include a full skein of wool. So the handmade gift was this. I love this little bauble. It is so cute. It's a cross-stitch quilt star on one side, and then the other side is also a cross-stitch quilt side, but it has the year that it was made, which I think is adorable, and I am so excited to put this on my tree next year. And then the skein of wool I got is this. Now this is Tippy Tree Yarns, which is an indie dyer out of Colorado. The colorway is So Me, and it is also called I Smell Snow, which I think that is the most iconic, like, memorable quote from Gilmore Girls, and I absolutely love it. I adore Lorelai. Twinning in souls right there. So this is 100 grams, 75/25, but it is a 2-ply. So I will probably use this for a hat, or maybe some mitts, or maybe some other one skein wonder item. I don't know exactly, but it's so cute. I do love it. It is super adorable. So that is where that is. I really, really like it. Now, I did get one more thing, and I want to I want to be clear. This is a Harry Potter item. I adore the Harry Potter world. I adore Harry Potter fan-made items. I do my best not to buy any licensed items. And the reason for that is when you have a licensed item, it gives royalties to Turf Queen. And we don't support that. Not one bit. These were made by Flock Around the Table, which is a little Etsy, and these are fan made. They are not licensed. So I just want to say that. These are super cute. Oh my god. They're stitch markers. So we have a little hat that says Wizard in Training, a bottle of butterbeer, a little thing with the Hogwarts castle on it, a pint of butterbeer, and a little Harry Potter book. These are so cute. These are little enamel stitch markers. They are so cute. I'm super excited about them. And they are the latch backs. So I'll be able to use them as progress keepers. This is super exciting to me. So I think my partner's name was Alexa, my swap person. So Alexa, thank you so much for all of the wonderful goodies, but also for getting Harry Potter, but not supporting, She Who Must Not Be Named. I super duper appreciate that. And I think that is the end of the episode, mostly because I have nothing reading or watching because I've been moving. So thank you. I'm going to end on that note and say, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, do all those things that the algorithm loves, and ring my bell so you get a notification the next time I post something. All right. Here's to hoping it didn't corrupt again. 4th attempt to record.